Okay, in this video, I'm covering how to audit your Google Business Profile and what you need to look at specifically on that profile, as well as on-page SEO. So on-page SEO as it relates to your Google Business Profile. So everything inside of your profile is what I mean by that when conducting on-page SEO. Now, your website certainly has a very strong foundational piece to your Google Business Profile, but not for every particular industry and niche. Some niches may not, essentially, you could get good rankings without a website, but not in all cases. In a lot of cases, you want to have, there's a lot of information that Google does when it scans and looks back and crawls your Google Business Profile to look at specific words on a particular page. So just understand, now that's beyond the scope of this training, is to conduct the on-page optimization of your website. Just know that a lot of that is a very strong foundational piece to also ranking higher in Google Maps. So you want to make sure your on-page optimization of your site is well completed. You want to make sure that on your website you have service pages. Each service page is really targeting one particular keyword, which is generally the main keyword of that service page. And the thing that really helps, that SEOs typically will do, is they'll grab a map embed from your GMB map, and embed that on your site. And what I mean by that is they'll embed it in the footer, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. They'll embed it in the footer, and sometimes they'll embed it on different pages, like a contact us page or on an about us page. And so that can be beneficial as well to really sending strong signals, so Google can begin to draw the relationship between your website as well as the GMB associated with that website. So when you have the link inside of your GMB, Google will crawl that link and go back to your site and to find out more information about your particular business. And so let's cover how to completing an audit of your Google Business Profile, as well as some of the sections that are most important and what things, and basically looking at various things there, like in terms of service area, how many cities to list in your service area if you're a service area business. If you're a business that basically shows your address where customers or potential clients can come and visit. There's a few different things there. I'll mention that businesses now this is as of 2023. Google has placed a lot more favor on businesses that actually show their address on Google. So we've done a fair amount of testing within my own agency, and we're seeing this, like, this has been pretty consistent, is that the businesses that are showing their address on their Google Business Profile tend to rank better, right? So just keep that in mind as well. Alrighty, so what I've done here is I've logged into one of the GMBs that we have for our agency. I actually forgot about this one, so I don't know if this has been optimized, but this is a great example to go over how to best optimize these things, right? So essentially you want to log into your Google Business Profile or into your Google account and get access to your GMB. It would look like this. When you sign into your Google account, you would go under Business Profile Manager to access your GMB or your GBP, however you want to call it, Google Business Profile, Google My Business. People, it's referred to a few different ways. But we'll go through these pieces here and what's most important to complete. And so when you edit your profile, anytime you make a change to your name, address, or phone number, those are highly sensitive fields, right? And so in many cases, they may trigger an auto suspension. That's just, what it is now, and it could trigger an auto suspension, so that way you would need to re-verify your business. So just keep that in mind and be very careful of that. So we're not going to touch name, address, and phone. If you are looking or have to make changes to those things, you simply can do something like this, and I'll explain. So this has worked on and off here and there, but you would add in a second, like for phone number, you would add in a second number, keep the primary, and then like a week later, switch the second number as your primary, and it may not trigger an auto suspension for re-verification. But just keep that in mind. if you need to change any of those things, just be careful, right? So just going over here, business name, name of our business, SMT Digital Solutions. Generally, in this case, there's quite a bit here, and I'm gonna update this. But you typically, your main, plumber, right, will be your main category. So that's what you want to list as your primary category. Generally, you don't want to have more than 2 to 3 additional categories outside of the primary. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 here. So we're going to cut this down to 2 to 3. Generally, we've done a fair amount of testing on this, and for some industries where it does make sense because that particular business offers a lot of different services, then you can see somewhere up to like 5 at times. But for the most part, like general rule of thumb is 1 primary and 2 to 3 additional categories the most, right? So within these business categories, this is the other thing that you're going to see here. So you have the categories listed here. Great. Okay, let me go back in here. So ensure that the primary category best represents your business. Okay, and then description. So this is allowed now, but this was allowed before, but I don't think this is allowed now. You can no longer, from what I can see, this can cause a potential be problematic with your business which may trigger like an auto suspension, is placing the phone number inside of the description. We had it here for a long period of time, so that's why I think it's not an issue. But if you're just revisiting this and looking to update all of this information in your description, ideally you want to have a good description of your business that encompasses the main services that you provide, all within, I think it's 750 characters is what you're allowed, or 750 words is what you're allowed in this section, I believe. So think about keywords in mind. So as you mentioned, your main level, main services that you offer, right? Keep that in mind, that like if you're a plumber, so plumber near me, you're not going to put plumber near me, but you're going to put that basically you specialize in hot water installations, things like that, toilet repair, whatever it may be. And then further on within your description, just have this written in a way that's essentially provides a good scope of the services that you provide, as well as good marketability to it in the copywriting. And so what I mean by that is having something like, we can help you get your business noticed online. So that's more consumer centric, consumer client focused. So yeah, we write a little bit about what we do, and you can say we have a lot of reviews online, those kind of things, but never forget to mention what you can do to the potential client or customer to benefit them and help them with the services that you offer as a business. So you'd want to definitely list that there. The other piece is that within the description, I found it to be helpful if you're also listing the service area, right? So if you're servicing 3 main counties, listing the counties, and then if there's like 20 cities in those counties, then it may be a little bit extensive and you can't get into listing that much information here in the description. But you generally want to list the cities that you serve, or the major cities that you serve within your description. Opening date. The premise of all of this is to ensure that you fill out all portions of your business information. So the opening date, the start date, phone number, website. Don't ever forget this, right? So link to your website here, your main website, but also be sure to create a business site as well. This is a free business site that Google will give you. And so we have already created that, and that's what this is here. So if you go under manage, what you will see here is the business site that we created. So this is the link to that site. In the future, you can utilize this site for link building, and so it's very beneficial. And so it can be very beneficial. This information, it pulls over from things that are already listed. As you can see here, we've done a little bit of for the business site. You don't have to go too crazy with this, but it pulls mainly a lot of all this information up top, and then you'll have to just add in this information here. And we put a link out to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We're trying to draw relevance so Google understands that these are all entities related to our business. And so we have links to each of those things here. And then the photo galleries here. So the it pulls from the photo galleries, from the photos on the GMB. So just having your Google business site also set up, you don't have to have that listed as a main website, but definitely have that as an additional secondary site for link building purposes. So short name, you can also, again, filling out all the fields here, listing your short name for your business, location and service, locations and areas. So because we don't have a location that customers visit, let me just show you what that means. So this is where you would show your address. So be careful with this as well. If you haven't verified your address with Google, this may trigger an auto suspension potentially, maybe not in all cases, but as I stated earlier, it is highly, highly beneficial now to have your address showing, even though you're a service area business, showing your address on Google. Now the service area, so Google allows for, I believe, 20 different service areas. So what you don't want to do is list like 2 counties or 3 counties. You want to take up as much real estate as possible and mention the counties, the cities that you work in. Take up all of this real estate, and mention the 20, or utilize the 20 addresses or service area cities that you can list in your favor. List your business hours. Make sure that's all completed. If you have any special hours for the holidays, make sure that is completed as well. Now, this is for a service area business. So if you're selling products and you have like a storefront, this is going to be a little bit different, what you see on the back end of Google here. But for the most part, the main thing to keep in mind is to fill out as much information as possible about your business. See service area, service options. So this is if you conduct offers online appointments. So we do. And I'll leave that there, but you can also list any kind of languages that you speak. So then I'll save that, right? And so that is mainly what you would need to do to edit the profile. Now, reviews, we don't really have to touch any of these. If you're going to add photos, you could do that here as well. All of this stuff here. The next piece is, depending on the type of business that you have, you will definitely, if you're selling products online, like so you're a jeweler and you have products, listing your products online. So we don't have any products here, but listing your products online, and then within the product description, essentially you can put the name of the product. Within the description, you want to list as much information as it allows about your product. And then the last piece that you want to make sure is there's a spot that it allows for a link to your site. Now, what you want to do is not have a link that goes directly to the main page of your site, but rather the link that goes to that specific product page. That's going to help to draw to really build upon the relevance, and really show Google, like, basically building how closely and strongly related that specific product is to keywords that you're trying to target. So that is extremely beneficial. Keep that in mind, that not to link out to the main website, but rather to link out to the product page if it is products that your business sells, right? So services. Same here. When it comes into the services, right, what you'll want to do is sometimes you'll see that Google has added suggested services that either consumers have said that this is a service that your business offers. So you may see that here, right? See, all of these, right, have not had any information inputted in, or they might have been wiped out. So what you'll want to do is list all of the services your company offers, right? When I mean all of them, sometimes listing things like, so if you do hot water heater installation, hot water heater repair, and here comes the little, secret sauce. Within the services, if you're doing hot water heater repair, let's use that as an example, hot water installation, you can create a service that basically is hot water heater near me. Now it's a keyword targeted service. So be careful. As of right now, I don't see Google wiping that from the profile, from the services by doing that, but that is a little bit stepping over the boundary of what that would be considered gray hat, and being a little bit like pushing the boundaries in terms of what you could do with your profile. So if you do that, only mention near me, like plumber near me or hot water installation near me, couple of times within your services as a separate service. And don't list like every single service. If you have 20 services you offer, having 20 services listed, like like I said, bathroom remodeling near me, kitchen remodeling near me, and having like a lot of redundant like spammy looking, essentially you can push the envelope a little bit, but don't go overboard, right? But the key piece here is many business owners just either don't put in the time to do this or just are lazy about it, is to go in and actually write 2 to 3 sentences that are keyword rich about this service that you offer, right? Within the keyword, within the service description, describe the services you offer with a little bit more detail. So if it's hot water installation, you can speak about, we install tankless hot water heaters, as well as traditional hot water heater tanks, gallons from 50 gallons and up. So being a little bit descriptive, right, in what you're listing as a service description. And then at the end of it, you can also list, you're allowed up to 300 characters, is to list serving the counties that you work in or the major cities that you work in. You can do that at the end of each one of these service descriptions. So that also helps to build geo relevance for each service description that you write about. So you want to go through all of these, like in this case, this is all of ours for our agency, and go in and write a little bit about 2 to 3 sentences about each one of these services. Now, another thing to keep in mind, what you can do is embed, I mentioned this a little bit ago about embedding the map on your website. And so to do that, you would go to maps. So I'm under organic from a desktop. So I could go under maps here and go to share and grab this embed code. I'm going to show you a little trick too with this, where you could actually include a few more additional keywords. So copy the HTML. Now place that HTML code into a document. I have like just a notepad up. So this is what the HTML code looks like, right? So you want to copy this and embed it on your website. And so the way you're going to be able to do that is if you have a WordPress website, it's the HTML section of your footer where you can place this. Now it's going to differ depending on the type of content management system you have, but if you have WordPress, it's very easy. You can go into the bottom footer section and go to where it says it'll have text and I believe HTML code. You could go to the HTML code and copy and paste this there. What you want to do before you do that is, this is a great place. If you look at all the way through this code, all the way to the end where it says iframe with the arrow pointing left, you'll have an arrow pointing left, and then you'll have downgrade with the arrow pointing right. In between these two arrows, you can place plumber near me, which is a top level keyword if you're looking to target for your business, as well as plumbing company near me. I would say up to anywhere between 3 to 5 keywords you can place here. This is kind of like, a little bit gray hat SEO. So it's kind of pushing the envelope a little bit by doing this as well. Water installation near me. So again, these are more geo-focused to Google Business and ranking higher in Google Business. That's why we've added the near me modifier at the end of all of these here. So we'll copy this code. Okay, I want to show you this if you do have a WordPress site. Now, we don't do this on our agency site because we have multiple Google Business profiles. So I want to mention this as well. This came to mind. Is if you have one Google Business profile, then this is applicable to you in terms of pasting the map embed code into your footer section. If you have multiple locations, then you won't want to do that with one location, because essentially if you have a page that mentions all the other locations and has embeds on that page, one of them could get penalized. I've seen it happen once before, but outside of that, I haven't seen it happen more than that. And I have seen it a few times where there was that conflict on a website. So I just mention it just so you keep that in mind. But if we go into any of these footer sections, right, and we go under like adding it's HTML, so custom HTML, you would open that up and you would add the code right inside there. So that's what you would do to put it inside your footer, and where it would show up on the footer of your website, it would be somewhere here. I'll show you, depending on how your website is structured. At the bottom, you would have it would show up in like this section. This is a footer, like a little map of your Google Business Profile.